Hey everyone, I hope you're doing all right. I'm just going to give it a few minutes and then we will have a look and see how everyone's doing. I'm just going to have a quick look and give it a few minutes so that everyone can start peeking in and just saying hi. And how's everyone doing? It's been a while since I've come on, so it's really good to be here. Good to see everyone. I'm really looking forward to today's live, and we're going to be making lots of messes. Going to be having lots of fun. If everyone could just let me know where you're tuning in from, and yeah. So just a quick introduction. My name is Tania, and I am tuning in from the UK, and it is 8:30 p.m. over here, so which is why it's a bit dark. So if you could let me know where you're tuning in from, that's always really nice to see where everyone is watching from. So this is being streamed on YouTube as well as Facebook. I see quite a few familiar faces as well. So just having a look. So we have Cece from Sweden. Hello from Italy, Melly. Hello, Melanie. Hello from hot, sunny Alberta, Canada. Well, please send us some sunshine because I don't know where the summer has gone over here in the UK. Hello, Shimara. Hello, Dolores from Maine. I'm doing good, Melanie. Thank you so much for asking. It's lovely to be here. And we have our admin as well, Alt New admin, who's there to answer any questions that I might possibly miss. Hello from Denver. So quite a few people watching on both YouTube as well as Facebook. From a foggy and cool San Francisco, you would have thought that'd be warmer there. Hello from Indiana. Thank you everyone for sharing. Make sure that you can share the stream so that all of your crafty friends can join in, whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. Hello from New York, Maryland. Uh, Tuning in from the UK. Hello, fellow Brett. Hi, Melissa. Hello, everyone. So if you share today's video with your friends during the live session, you will be entered for a chance to get a $15 certificate to the Alta New store and get yourself some goodies. Have you guys got any new things that you have in mind that you've got on your wish list that you really want to get? So yeah, my goodness, so many comments. It's good to see everyone. What we're going to be doing is somebody mentioned that they were curious to see what the stamp set looked like. I am in a small town near London, Tracy. Uh, I'm not quite in London, but I am near London, so not quite Greater London either. But yeah. So yeah. So the stamp set that we're going to be using is the Alta New Vintage Garden stamp set, which comes with a matching die set, as well as a simple coloring stencil. And a word of warning, we're going to be making a lot of messes today. And if you're someone who doesn't like messes, sometimes I know when I teach my classes, I advise some of the students to wear gloves if you don't want to mess up your manicure or get any ink on your hands or ink or paint. So that's what you can do. So we're going to be using quite a few products. We've got stencils, we've got sprays, we've got the blending brushes, as well as the crisp inks as well. And yeah, it's really good to see everyone. So I'm just going to flip the camera around so that we can quickly get going. We I want to finish within the hour, so let's see how this goes. So let me switch the camera around, and then if you bear with us for a minute. And here we go. You should be able to see my desk. My desk, we've not even started yet, and it's already a mess. Um, so I have as I said, the Vintage Garden stamp set, as well as the stencil and the die, which we will be using. And I think we're going to be focusing on this larger floral motif here, because this is large enough that I think I should be able to split it over 2 cards. So we're going to be ambitious today, and we're going to be making 2 cards. And I also have the beautiful Altenew mists. I'm going to be showing you their properties, how lovely they are. Have you guys, let me know in the comments if you guys can see and hear me clearly. And also let me know if you've ever used the Altenew mists before. And can you tell me what you know about them? So let me clear my desk up, and then we'll get cracking to make our cards. We're going to be using the stamp wheel as well. And I've got some cardstock cut down already. And I've got some top folding A2 cards, which I've already scored. I'm using some heavyweight 300 grams cardstock, smooth white cardstock. But if you want to do a lot of mixed media techniques, do a lot of wet techniques, then you can use the Altenew watercolor card stock, which is cut down conveniently to A2 card size. So you've got the big pad as well as the smaller pads. So you can just get the smaller pads. The smaller pads, the surface is nice and smooth. And we're going to be doing some stamping and using the stamp wheel as well. So I'm just going to set my cardstock to the side. The 2 stencils that I've got here are, please excuse the state of my stencils. Sometimes I clean them, sometimes I don't. It depends on what I'm doing and what kind of medium I've used. So I've got the Elegant Swirl stencil here, as well as the castle motifs. So I think I was going for lots of like really ornate kind of wallpapery kind of designs. So Anne said she loves the mist and she believes that they're all shimmery sprays. And they are beautiful, yes, but they're not all shimmery mists. And it's some of them you can get white ones. You can get a white one as well as a black one. I'm going to be using the black one here. I like using it for splatters and for adding a touch of black. And you're not a fan of the antique gold one, it's too orange. Well, with the mists, it's one of the things you have to keep in mind is I haven't shaken them just to show you guys. I think you can kind of see that there's a little bit of sediment at the bottom. So that's basically the mica of the sprays that are sitting at the bottom. And what you need to do is you need to shake them until you can hear the mixative bottle shaking inside. So what I like to do is I like to shake them from side to side. And then you can you hear the mixative bottle inside? So I'm just going to keep shaking it. And what I'm doing is I'm not shaking it up and down like this too much. I like to, with the pearlescent ones, I like to shake them from side to side so that the sediment doesn't get stuck into the spray too much. So now I've got the ball rolling on this one as well. So just going to give them a little bit of a shake just to get them going. Shake, 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 shake. And let me just get a paper bag. let's see if I can fit this inside the camera view. And what I have here is a really big brown paper bag, which I'm going to be using so that I'm not spraying all over the place, if that kind of makes sense. Oh, that fits perfectly. So what we're going to do is I'm going to grab my cardstock. And I'm going to place that inside there. So it's, as you can see, it's like a little encased little pack I have here, so that if you're someone who doesn't like messes everywhere and you're afraid of using the sprays, then you can kind of find like a brown paper bag like this and just use that. So I'm going to be using the Elegant Swirl stencil first of all. I'm just going to open that up. This is one of my, I absolutely adore this stencil. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab a brush, and just to make sure that it's not lifting anywhere. And then I'm going to grab the sprays. And the first one I'm using is, this one is the Ocean Waves. Yes, you can paint with the sprays, and what you can also do is, the Altenew has watercolor brushes, you know, the ones that you can fill the barrel up with water. So you could just put some of this liquid inside of the watercolor brushes and just use those, and you will get like really gorgeous shimmery kind of effects, which is what I actually do with iridescent. Is I put iridescent shimmer, which is like absolutely gorgeous. It looks stunning on black. I mean, if you get at least one of the mists, I would highly recommend getting at least iridescent, because this is so versatile. You can add it to all sorts of mediums, and the way it looks on black is just absolutely gorgeous, and it gives you really stunning effects on white as well, like really subtle effects. So I've just really lightly pressed my spray and just gotten some paint on there, and then I'm just going to make sure. And so I'm holding the spray from a distance, so you can't really see it, and I'm off camera. And then I'm going to really carefully lift that stencil, and there is your stenciled effect. So I pressed the spray a little bit too hard, so we'll have another go at it. But the thing is that if you've got you've made mistakes somewhere, you can simply just cover it up with another element, or with another a stamped sentiment or something like that. So what I'm doing is, before I clean this, I'm actually going to take this. So I've got all that beautiful ink on there, that beautiful shimmery ink. And then what you can do is you just simply flip it upside down. Really, really carefully place it over your cardstock. And then I am going to grab a kitchen towel, and I'm just going to press that on there. And this is basically me taking a print of all that lovely ink that's left on that stencil, and it's going to give me like a lovely kind of distress kind of effect, which is what I was aiming for. So let's lift this up and see what it looks like. And here is a really, really subtle background, and you can see that it's picked up the design of the stencil really well. And what you can do is, if you want to get a more kind of even effect, what you can do is You can take some water, a bottle of water, a mist with some water in it, spray that on, and then press that down. So instead of using water, I'm going to be using the iridescent mist. Exactly. I mean, you've got all that beautiful mist on there already. You don't really want to waste that. So what I'm doing is I am activating all of that mist that's on there on that stencil. I could have placed a piece of black cardstock underneath, but I'll do that for next time. And then I'm just going to flip that over and take another print. So this is basically, you're taking a monoprint. So you're transferring ink from one surface to your paper. And I just simply love doing this. You could just go for hours and hours and just keep making backgrounds with stencils and mists. So let's see what that looks like. Oh, I think we have a winner, people. Here we go. Let me just angle it that into the light and you can see the shimmer on there. So I'm just going to very gently place this on the side to dry. If that doesn't dry 100%, then we can give it a blast with a heat gun afterwards. Let me just clean my stencil up. And then I'll do the same technique with the other stencil, because I was really excited to use both of them. Yes, Cindy, I used the iridescent spray instead of water, just to give it that extra sparkle. So again, repeating the process, I'm just going to place that down. Let me just check, what do I have on here? Is it's some kind of permanent, I think it's black acrylic paint. So I'm not worried about that coming off on my paper, because it's, when you're working with water reactive mediums, it's really important to keep in mind that if this had something that like a dye ink on there and I didn't clean it and I placed something wet on top, then the ink that's on your stencil can react again to the wet medium, and then it can kind of affect the colors that you've already got on your card. So if you don't want to do that, then you should clean your stencils. But I'm not too worried because I know that the medium that's on here is not going to react with any of the mediums that I'm going to add on. So I'm just holding my spray at a distance. And so I used Mountain Mist there. And then I'm going to add a touch of Ocean Waves. So I just pressed that slowly and that got a little bit of a splatter coming out. And we've got a beautiful background there, a soft background, which I think we're going to be using this one. But let's see what the other one looks like. I'm just going to place that to the side. I'm just going to put that down. And again, I'm just going to saturate this with the iridescent medium. Oh, let me place a piece of black cardstock underneath. Just to show you guys what that iridescent looks like on black. So I've just got a piece of black paper there. I'm just going to take iridescent. Just going to give that a little bit of shake. And then I'm just going to saturate the stencil place that stencil aside because I want to show you guys what that iridescent looks like on black. Can you see that it's actually changed color to this lovely kind of purpley violet kind of color? It just looks stunning. It looks stunning on darker backgrounds. So you can just create a quick background on a navy cardstock or on craft cardstock as well. And if you wanted to, you could use this as a background. So I'm gonna keep this to use for a future project. I'm just gonna put this to the side to dry, and then I'm going to bring another cardstock panel, and I'm just going to, I've got some blobby bits here. I'm just gonna move that just a tiddly bit around so that the color isn't too concentrated in one place. And then we just place that down, and then with a clean-ish part of a kitchen roll, just going to place that on top and then just press that down. And if you wanted to, you could run it through your die cutting machine as well with one of those foam sheets that you can use for embossing to get a kind of letterpress kind of soft effect. It's really nice. So let's see what that looks like. We have high hopes for this one, so let's see what it looks like. I'm just making sure that it's made full contact with my cardstock, and then lift. Oh, I like this one. And then we've got a really soft kind of effect, and you can see that design in there as well. It's kind of hard to pick up on camera, but you can see that the flower design is up there in that corner. So I think we have two winners that we can possibly use for our backgrounds. And then let me just clean this afterwards. And then let me get this paper bag out of the way. See, the thing is, I have some curtains right behind my camera, which you can't see. And I really don't want to get any any ink on there because they're cream colored. I really shouldn't have put cream colored curtains in my craft room. I do not know what I was thinking, but I wasn't really expecting to. I wasn't expecting to do my crafting on this side of the room. But anyway, oh, I think we've got some dampness here. Let me just dry this. Just to make sure my surface is nice and dry. And then we'll move on to our stamping. So we're going to be using a Vintage Garden. And let me just shorten my cardstock a little bit so that it fits inside the stamp wheel. Have you guys tried the stamp wheel, or are you still thinking about it? Because I just absolutely am obsessed with mine. I love it so much because I really love doing designs where it's like a mandala kind of pattern. And that is, you can easily create patterns of all kinds using the stamp wheel. So I will use this larger motif, which we can cut down and use afterwards. So let me just place this down here. And then just clip that in really nicely and lift. And I have my inks here. Let me bring my inks out. And then I'm going to be using my beloved Obsidian Pigment ink because I'm going to be doing some ink blending over the top. And I don't want any of that black smudging when I am doing stenciling into the background. Obsidian Pigment ink is my favorite ink, my favorite black ink to use for outline stamps as well as intricate sentiments as well. It just gives such lovely crisp results. So the stamp set that I'm using this is Vintage Garden. It's a beautiful stamp set. And if I'm not mistaken, it's on, the whole bundle is on sale at the moment. So do I need to re-ink it? I do not. I actually did a pretty good job with the stamping that. Not bad. Not bad, Tania. Not bad. So I'm just going to give this a little clean so I can put it back. I'm using a baby white. Normally I use just a microfiber cloth to clean my stamps. But for the convenience and quickness for this live, I'm using a baby white. So that's clean. And because Obsidian is a pigment ink, it takes a bit longer to dry. So I'm just gonna quickly grab my heat tool and give that a quick zap. So is everyone just crafting as well, or are you just watching? Alyssa says, I'm still thinking about the stamp wheel. I already have a small size stamping platform. Not sure I want to spend money on just another one. Yeah, completely understand what you mean. You have to think about what kind of crafting you do. It's an investment for sure. And for someone like me who loves doing techniques and loves to create cards, like mass-produced cards, then it makes sense for me to have something like this. I'm just going to quickly dry my image. So as you saw, when I heat set my image, I heated it from both sides so that it reduced some of the warping of the paper. So I am just going to take out the stencil. It is a very beautiful stamp set. It's not new. I think it came out either two or 3 years ago. So I think I'm just looking at what backgrounds I want to use to decide what colors I want to use on my cards. So I think I definitely want to use this because this is just, oh, that makes me happy. And maybe I'm going to use this. I don't quite like how the splatters here, but we will make that work for us. So we've got some bluey kind of colors going on. So to contrast those colors, what we can do is we can create some. Let me just have a quick little wiggle around, and here we go. And there we go. It fits perfectly. My cardstock isn't quite is it's too big, so my stencil isn't quite attaching to the background, which is fine. So what kind of colors do we want to use? So I'm going to show you guys how you can get like a very interested blended colors, doing not just using the same color family, but using two different colors to get a third color. So if you don't have like all the colors and you don't want to have them, then you can just simply keep a few colors, buy a few sets in colors that you really love, and then think about color theory and how those colors will blend with each other. So now I've got what I'm using is I'm using fresh lemon, and I'm using a small blending tool. I really love these because they sit really nicely in my hands. And I feel like it's a short enough handle that I have a good grip on them, so that I feel like it's not going to be like wiggling around anywhere. So I am just going to just hold it down with my one hand is holding it down, and then I'm just going to press that color in. And we've got some leaves there as well, so we're going to do the leaves a yellow as well, and we'll blend some blue into them to give them like a greeny kind of hint. And the beauty of dye inks is that the colors are buildable, so you can build up the intensity of the colors if you keep layering them up. And I just simply love how the inks sit on top of each other. So I'm just going to just make sure that it's fully saturated with that yellow. And then I lift it away just to show you guys what it looks like without me having added any more colors on top. So you can see that it just like that, you have a really stunning background. And it didn't take me more than 5 minutes to do this blending. But we're going to take it a step further. So I'm just going to bring my stencil back in. And just hold it steady there. So with the simple coloring one, it's not one of the many layered ones. But if you're someone like me who likes to do, who sometimes fancies doing some minimal kind of designs, then it's perfect. And the design is beautiful enough that you don't have to do much to it. So I'm using Rubelite now, and I'm not going to be using a lot of it. I'm just dabbing it ever so slightly, and just to make sure that the ink is distributed evenly into the bristles of the ink of the brush, I kind of press it into the lid. So just tap it on there and then just use the lid as kind of like a palette, so that I don't have an extra kind of surface to clean on. Now, also keep in mind that I have some ink on my stencil, and some of that is going to reactivate because I'm adding more wet ink on there. If you wanted to, you can clean this, but I'm not going to do that. So very, very lightly, I'm just going to be doing this, the centers of the flowers. just to see what it looks like. So concentrating the color heavily in the center and then very lightly moving outwards. And then repeat with this one, very heavily in the center, and then sort of lessening the pressure of the blending brush towards the outside, but not taking it all the way outside. So let's see what that looks like. There you go. You've got a beautiful kind of blended effect. And where the rubellite was layered on top of that yellow, you've got a beautiful kind of burnt orange kind of color. So I'm just going to hold it up to the camera just to show you guys. Oh, let me angle it into the light there so that you can see it better. So you've got a beautifully blended effect just using 2 inks. And then for the leaves, let me reset that design in. For the leaves, I am going to use the other small blending brushes just to really get into the crevices of the leaves. And then I'm just going to tap that really lightly again. So I'm using Tide Blue, and again using the lid to kind of tap off some of that ink and make sure that's distributed really nicely into that stencil. And again, my stencil is not clean, so I'm using some of that ink as a kind of way to blend some more color in. So really lightly, I am just adding in blues to where the leaves are. And then what that does is it kind of gives the whole stamped image, because it's all got yellow on there, it gives it a bit more cohesive kind of look. So I'm just going to blend that in. And let's see what that looks like. Lift. Perfect. Just the right amount of inking that I wanted. So you can see that where the blue sat on top of the yellow, it's got like a blended green kind of effect there. And some of it has gone onto the flower, but I don't mind too much. So I'm just going to put my inks away. And so the stencil, it comes with it comes in 2 parts. So it goes with the larger image, which I blended on there. So that was that one. And for the smaller one, you've got a smaller part stencil there for that as well. And as well as for the leaves too. And it's got some beautiful, really small sentiments on there. And then we can have a vote afterwards which one you want to use. So I just put this aside. I'm going to clean this afterwards. And normally, just to show you guys, with my ink blending brushes, I don't have one for them all. These are all the ones I have. I have another one just in case, but these are the ones I have, and I keep my ink blending tools for the pigment inks and for the dye inks separate, because you don't really want to mess around with that too much. So these ones are my pigment ink brushes, and these ones are for my dye inks. So I have one for every kind of color family, and I have one which is dedicated to black. So this way, if you're thinking about buying these brushes and you're worried about which ones to get, just get a few, try them out. You can clean them if you want, but with the amount of ink blending I do, it kind of makes sense for me to have this many. And I love that there's so many different kinds of ink blending brushes. So there's the larger ones as well, which are really great for the large backgrounds, and there's some really small ones as well, which I'll show you if we have time at the end. So I've got my image blended. So let me do my stamping first before I put my stamp wheel away. I did have some extra colors there on the side, but I decided not to use those because I wasn't sure how the sprays would look. So coming back to the backgrounds we did, so we're going to be using that one. We're using that one. And let's do some stamping. So if I move that one like this, and then we'll die cut this out as well. And so I'll stamp 1 sentiment on there and 1 sentiment. Actually, let me die cut this first, and then we'll decide on the placement of the sentiments. It was quite a cool day today, but now under all these studio lights, I am feeling very warm. Do you guys have any of the blending brushes? Because I love that there's so many different kinds, because then not everyone likes the same things. Like I like these ones with the short handles because I feel like I have really good control of the brush. So the stamp set has a matching die. So we've got one for, just like on the stencil, for the larger motif, as well as the smaller ones and the leaves as well. Well, if there's any items that are out of stock, then all you need to do is just put on the notification for notify me for when it's back in stock. And that's also going to tell the lovely people at Altenew that you guys would like to have more of a particular item back in stock. Oh my goodness, you have 44 of the medium, 24 of the large, and several packs of the very small ones. Wow. So I'm just laying this down, and I'm just going to use some washi tape to hold my die in place. Sorry, I'm working off camera. It's just the die cutting machine is quite large, and I have my camera positioned so that you guys have maximum view of what's going on my desk. So just making sure it's lined up. Perfect. I just love having these matching dies. It makes just life so convenient. So I'm just going to run that through my die cutting machine. You have full set syndrome, Teresa. Then we've got a perfectly die cut image out, and let me put this back inside its packaging, because otherwise, knowing me, I am going to lose them. Right, how are we doing for time? Oh my goodness, only 15 minutes left. Need to get a wiggle on. Okay. put my die cutting machine away. Apologies, just a quick sip of water. So my cunning plan is I want to use this image on both these panels. So I am going to cut it into half. So I just need to decide if I want to place them like this. Do I like them like this? Or do we like it like this? Oh, oh, decisions. Decisions. What do you guys think? Should we chop it down like that? Or should we chop it down like this? Oh dear. We have a dilemma. Okay, everyone start voting. Should I do it vertically or horizontally? I think I am feeling that this should be the orientation. Yeah, let's do this as our orientation. See, most people are saying horizontal because I'm feeling like that's the right way to go. So when I'm not I'm undecided, I just think to myself, okay, I have like 5 seconds and then I have to commit. Because when I start going down that frame of mind where I'm like thinking, oh, should I do this or that, then I'm gonna be there for hours. So to stop my faffing, I just say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yep, we're gonna go that way. And then I am just going to chop that in half. If there's some ink on there, just making sure. Just let me get rid of that. I don't want to get any of that on my image. Just gonna chop that in half right there. But this little nubby bit there, but we'll just cut that off. So put that to this side. Okay, so now sentiments. Let's quickly do this. Can we finish on time? Can I finish on time? I know this is, you guys, I had such a busy day today. It was just rushing. And now I'm here. This is just absolute bliss. I can't describe it. It's just I'm enjoying myself so much right now. Just chatting with you guys, just relaxing, having fun, and just crafting. I'm in my happy place right now. Crafting is definitely a happy place. So just gently tap that on, tap that ink on, tap, tap, tap. And press. Yep. Actually, that would just make a really nice card just as is. Just out of curiosity, are you guys reading the words the right way around, or is it mirrored? backwards. Oh dear. I should have mirrored it. Oh dear. I wonder if I can change that. Is that better? Is that better now? Can you see things the right way around? For this one, what sentiment should we use? Oh, this is nice. Oh, can you seriously do the best sentiments? This one says, what would I do without you? This one says, kindness beautifies everything it touches. Aww. And then there's a you there, and it says, you inspire me every day. And then you are worthy. You are meant to do amazing things. Oh, I think let me do this one, because what would I do without you? I like this one. Oops. Let me just make sure that it's in the right place. So we're going to use that one on that one. And then shall we do this like that? Yes. Yes. Because I wasn't sure if it's supposed to be mirrored on my side. And just making sure that, yeah, it's in the right place. Just pressing down my background. I mean, guys, if you could see the shimmer on that, it's beautiful. So beautiful. Makes me happy. Okay, so lightly tap, tap, tap. And then what would I do without you? Oh, ugh, my heart. Okay, let's put this back. And I have a little plan, another little plan, that before I put those on there, I want to do some stamping of the leaves, because this looks a bit bare to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly find a pencil and just mark where my stamped image will go, so that I know where I want to stamp. Very technical. I'm not worrying about it too much. So you can see that I've made like a rough circle right there. That's going to be hidden right there. And I'm going to bring the leaf stamp over. Oh, you guys, my mom is here. Oh, Assalamu alaikum, Mama. Oh. So just making sure, how will that look? Yes, that makes me happy. So I'm just going to lift that up really carefully. Yep, it's in the right location. Just press that down. So I'm not going to ink these leaves up. I'm just going to leave them plain black. I was going to add some splatters, but I think for once, I don't want to use any splatters. If you wanted to, you could add some more blending with the simple coloring stencil. But I think because we've already got so much going on in the background, I don't really want to do that. And that gives like a really nice, subtle kind of extra dimension, because we're going to be popping that up on a, with using some foam tape. So I'm just going to put that aside. Should we do some more leaves on this one as well? Let's have a look. So I've got that splatter right there that I want to cover up. So I know I want to place it right there. So I'm going to take my pencil again and just really quickly draw a circle around there, so that I know that's where I need to do my stamping. So don't need to do anything there. Which leaf should I use? Do I want to use this leaf? Yeah, let's use that one. Do I need to reposition it, or can I get away with... No, I need to reposition it. That look fine there. Just a little bit more outwards. Perfect. Just press that down so that it doesn't shift. And just pick that stamp up and ink my stamp set, and there we go. I think we might just go just a minute or two over, but we are mostly done. And now we do our assembly. Okay, so I'm just going to put everything to the side now. I'll clean up afterwards. And then we get our foam tape, my trusty Alteneer bone folder, because if you're a card maker, then you definitely need one of these, because once you've tried, you folded your own cards. Like I make my own cards. I love them. Once you've folded down a crease with a bone folder, then you realize, my goodness, why didn't I get one of these earlier? Like, where has this been all my crafting life? It's a game changer, bone folder. It's such a simple thing, but I think it's a must-have. Okay, so I've got that. And then let me just find a pair of scissors. And we start doing our assembly. So let's start with this one first. You don't have to use foam tape on the backgrounds panel, but I just love that look, so I will pretty much use foam tape on everything if I can. And you always get this, you get this giant roll. Yeah, gotta love foam tape. You can't have you can't not have foam tape. It's like I seriously, the amount of crafting I do, and I still have this roll. I'm really always surprised at how much I can get through them, but still the roll just seems like it's never ending. So I'm just really easily lifting off that release tape and just making sure my card is the right way up, because if you know, you know, we've all stuck our panels on the wrong way around. Just gonna make sure that this is centered in nicely. There we go. Get some more foam tape and just so just sticking down my ink blended flowers as well, just lining that up, and that covers up that smudge that I didn't like. That's card one done. And then with the second one, let's stick this down first. I just love how easily it pulls off, because sometimes with foam tape it takes ages just to find that release, to take that release paper off, but with the alternate ones it just comes off like butter. Love it. So just making sure I'm not touching that stamped image right now, because it's obsidian ink. Obsidian ink is pigment based, which means it dries slow, so just make sure that you're not smudging it. Okay, and I think I need one more piece to go on there. Would that fit? Yes. Right, everyone, I hope you guys enjoyed this live. I want to say thank you very much for watching and for being such a wonderful audience. And here are the two cards done. So let me just flip the camera around, and if you guys have any questions, please do ask about any of the products that I've used today. So let me just sit back down. Right. Right, everyone, thank you so much for watching. And these were the cards that we made today using Altenews Vintage Garden stamp set. Thank you everyone for tuning in. I just love how these backgrounds look. Let me, oh, wrong way around. Here we go. There you go. Can you see how they look? Thank you very much for tuning in. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's session. And I hopefully, maybe we'll see you guys again soon. Thank you so much for watching, and have a lovely day. Thank you so much. Bye.